well. Thanks for joining us here at the Science Spectrum. As you know, our doors are still closed to the public. We hope to open as soon as we can, but we definitely want to do that safely. But we are definitely missing our visitors at the museum. It's May, and normally this place is teamed and full of children, but it is very quiet around here. So as staff, our full-time staff are back in the building getting ready and prepared as much as possible for when we reopen. But till then, we still want to provide these activities you can do at home. So my name's Alana.
I'm Emily.
And then behind the camera, we have Miss Megan and Miss Ashley back here helping us out. So if you have any questions as we go through the activity, please let us know. Miss Megan will let us know if there are any questions. But feel free to interact with us and ask us questions. So today we're going to be doing an activity called Chemistry is Colorful, looking at a scientific technique called chromatography. So specifically we're going to be doing paper chromatography. So some things you would want to have, maybe some coffee filters. If you don't have coffee filters, you can just use paper towels. But you can try out different types of paper too. It's all about experimenting and seeing how things work. You'll want some washable markers. We will make a mess, so you will want washable markers. It gets pretty fun and colorful. So we're going to be looking at chromatography. So first off, we're going to look at, we have these three different black markers. You can come on in closer, Miss Megan. All right, and Emily, I want you to do just like one drop in the middle of each of those black circles. So all of these black circles were done with different types of black markers. So paper chromatography is helping us actually see the different pigments within different colors. So all of the markers that we're going to be using have different pigments. So this paper chromatography is helping us see that kind of as in an almost visual molecular way, not quite that detailed, but we're starting to see some different colors. So what do you see over here, Emily, versus the other ones?
This one I'm seeing some blue on the edges. This one looks a lot more purple.
Yeah.
And it has some little bit of blue on the fringe.
This one almost seems to have like some yellow in it
Whoa.
too.
Yeah, I see that yellow.
Isn't that
that's so cool.
So all three of these are different black markers, and so we can look at the different manufacturers would use different pigments to mix up and make their colorful formulas. So kind of a fun thing just to even experiment with blacks and see what they do. So as you do this, what I recommend too, before you really get into the art we're going to show, is you can then on a couple, I'm going to tear off a couple paper towels for both of us for a workstation. You'll want to have something underneath as well, so you're not getting that all over. A few weeks ago, y'all did tie-dye, right? So y'all definitely learned the value of having something under your workspace. Yeah, so I'm going to give you a coffee filter. So one thing you can even do is you could do little dots at first. So if I just do like a red dot, so we saw how this black separated. It'd be kind of cool to see how different colors separate as well. So you could just maybe do a few dots separate from each other so that they can have a little bit of room to spread out, or you could do one color per filter, whatever. But this would just give you a way to kind of see the different pigments that are within each of those individual colors. So I did a red, a purple, and a brown. And so we start to see those start separating out pretty quickly. Oh, here's a water bottle.
Thank you.
So anyway, that's just kind of a fun way to see if maybe there are multiple pigments in there making that one color, or maybe it's just all brown, maybe it's all just purple. But really, really cool to see what's happening. So what do you think is happening as we like put the water on the paper? What is the water doing?
I feel like it's, so whenever we draw with a marker, it's already wet, and then when it goes on the paper, it's dry. So whenever we put water on it again, it makes it wet again. And so that makes it all jumbly, I guess.
Yeah, so then that water is able to travel through the paper. So it's, I guess, I want to say capillary reaction. I don't know if that's true or not. Fact check that. But as it gets wet, that water is then traveling through that filter and then traveling through, and so it's carrying that pigment as well as the water. So anyway, that's just kind of a fun thing to see about the different color pigments that may be within your markers. Again, noticing it's a good idea to have that workspace underneath.
Drawing with the marker, that's what that does.
Yeah, so the coffee filter is definitely very thin, so it's gonna separate. So that's a little bit of the science behind this, but now we can have some fun with it and make some art. So we can definitely get another coffee filter. And then I have some examples here, and basically I just scribbled on the coffee filter and whatever pattern design I wanted to do. But you mentioned earlier the marker's wet and it kind of gets the paper wet when you start coloring on it too. So you definitely want to be careful. If I color really hard in this one spot for a long time, I'm going to end up tearing my coffee filter, right? Aww. So you actually want to be a little light-handed. You don't need to color it in too solid. But yeah, if that coffee filter gets too wet, it can definitely tear easy. Just coloring, maybe going for it. Ooh, kind of a flower design.
I think so.
I'm just kind of doing some squiggles
I want orange
out there.
I like how that orange actually split apart. That
Yeah.
was fun.
Yeah, and so that's another reason why maybe you could just do one color at a time so you see how it reacts. And so some colors may spread out into more colors more often or more than others. So I'm going to put some black lines in there because we already know that black separates out into some pretty colors. So maybe do some black lines
That's really good.
in there as well. I'm going to sneak and grab the paper towels from you.
This marker's dying a little bit, but since I know I'm going to put water on it again,
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
too
okay.
concerned.
Exactly. It's going to spread out. It's going to be fine. And that may be a problem some of y'all have at home is that you have a bunch of dried up markers. I actually have a recommendation for that. If you have a bunch of dried up markers, you can take the cats. Don't involve your cats. You take the caps off of them and then put them upside down in like a cup of water. And then leave that overnight, and the water, using very similar to chromatography, it's actually going to, and probably osmosis and a whole bunch of other words, again, fact check me on that, but it will actually draw all of the pigment still trapped within the marker down into the water. So then you can actually get a cup of like watercolors that you can do other activities with. So another way to get a little extra use out of your dying markers. You want to do it before and after? Yeah, okay, so yeah, you can take a look at.
I like your pinwheel.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I have this kind of green, purple, black pattern. She has a very
Flower dots.
yellow gem type dot. So with this, I want to show you two different techniques that you can then develop your artwork. So with Emily, all I want you to do is just kind of leave it still and then spritz it a few times.
Okay.
So again, being aware of your kind of surroundings in your workstation, you don't want to get everything too terribly wet. Okay, so that's good now. It's going to start spreading. You see that orange is spreading out just like you liked how the orange separated, and your purples and greens. So it's starting to kind of spread out a little bit. So once you let it sit for a little bit, those colors will bleed a little bit more.
Cool.
If it dries and you want to add more water to it, you can to get it to spread those colors out more. I'm going to show you another method that I like doing. It definitely is the messier version. But I'm going to spray it, and then I'm actually going to crumble it up. So again, you could wear gloves or wrap it in a paper towel instead of just doing your bare hands, but then that's going to help it actually spread those colors out a different way. It's going to kind of mix them up a little bit. And then maybe once you crumble it, you could spritz it a little bit more, maybe help that black separate a little bit more. So totally up to you in different forms that you could want to try out. If you don't have have coffee filters around, paper towels still work pretty cool too. So I'm just going to grab this scrap paper towel that I had and draw a design on it real fast with a few different colors. But yeah, even the paper towels will work just fine doing this reaction. Ooh, okay, so you sprayed it a little bit more and then crumbled it up?
Yeah, that's really fun. I just saw how fun you had with that method.
Right,
and
yeah.
I really wanted to try it.
Exactly, it is pretty fun. Again, a little bit messy, but super fun as well. So even then with the paper towel, you can see that the paper towel starts to spread out pretty quickly as well. So that absorbency of that paper towel is doing its job, spreading that water out and also spreading that pigment out. So you could do this with paper towels, color it, spray it, and then you could, use scissors, cut out whatever design shape you wanted to do. Yeah. So I had a thought too. I already have some that I've already colored and they're mostly dry. So you just want to lay them on a paper towel and let them dry. But then we can make art out of these, and so then we can make gifts to give people. So if you make your artwork and then you want to share it with a loved one, you're more than welcome to do that. They may appreciate a handmade gift at this time, especially Mother's Day is Sunday, right? So happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there. Still working full-time jobs, not working, full-time teachers now. I know it's definitely been a new adventure for all of us out there. We're all kind of in the same boat. So you can go ahead and grab one of those. So one thing we could do is just kind of pinch it in the middle and make a little flower out of it. And then I have some pipe cleaners over here. So we could just wrap that on the bottom. Make a little stem. Ta-da! Easy peasy flower. You could use some other pipe cleaners, make some leaves on that. Or it can go straight into a vase like that. So you can make a coffee filter flower arrangement. See, this one I'm actually going to scrunch in the middle. Let's see, I'll go ahead and scrunch this one in the middle as well. So now I have 4 wings.
Ooh.
Use another pipe cleaner. You can make a little butterfly.
That's so cute.
Okay, so, I mean, you could make tons of things, so I just kind of twisting it up, using one pipe cleaner, twisting it to get that abdomen section. I have those 4 wings there, and then twisting it at the top a little bit. I didn't do that evenly, so my antennae are a little wonky, but that's okay. He's cute. He has some extra personality. There we go. So then, that's not very pretty. If you go slower, you can make
That's very pretty.
a more symmetrical butterfly. But there we go. All right, so that was just a quick look at some chromatography, a science technique that scientists do actually use to look at pigments and colors. It's used in the meat processing plants and stuff, medical fields, all kinds of stuff. Chromatography is used. So this is just a fun at-home version of paper chromatography. So thank you all so much for joining us today. If you do any of our activities, please feel free to use the hashtag #ScienceSpectrumAtHome. Tag us up in any of your social media. Check out previous videos on our Facebook page, as well as finding Science Spectrum Museum and Omni Theater on YouTube. We've posted up a lot of our videos there as well. So yeah, I think that's it. Happy Friday, happy Mother's Day. Hope you all have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.